Descent into Avernus has officially come out. I unfortunately was unable to go out and pick up my physical copies from the game store today due to work-related stuff, but I do have it on D&D Beyond, so we're going to be talking all about what are the new magic items contained within Descent into Avernus. Be forewarned, there's sort of some spoilers because of that, but if you're interested to see what I'm talking about, stay tuned. Once again, there may potentially be spoilers. I've read through the magic items already. I don't really think there are any, but you may learn about what a magic item is before you would know in the course of the game. So you've been warned. We're going over to D&D Beyond. Here we go. First up, we have the Battle Standard of Infernal Power. This one we actually have a nice piece of art for, which is cool. Very rare, requires attunement. And you can see this little cage here with the closet in it. It's made of infernal iron fitted with a small and openable cage. The trapped closet is incapacitated. The cage has an AC of 19, 10 HP, and immunity to all types of damage except for force. If killed or somehow released, the closet disappears in a cloud of smoke, and a new one appears in the cage, provided the cage is intact. While you hold the banner, your weapon attacks and those of all allied creatures within 300 feet of you count as magical for the purposes of overcoming damage, resistance, and immunities. I'm going to assume the main reason one would have said battle standard is because all fiends have immunity, or not necessarily immunity, but they have resistance to non-magical attacks that aren't silver. It may even be immunity. This gets you around that if you carry one of these standards. Gauntlets of Flaming Fury, rare, require attunement. While you wear both of these steel gauntlets, any non-magical weapon you grasp with either gauntlet is treated as a magic weapon. As a bonus action, you can cause the gauntlets to cause magical flames to envelop one or two melee weapons in your grasp. Each flaming weapon deals an extra 1d6 fire damage on a hit. The flames last until you sheath the weapon or let go of them. Once used, the property can't be used again until the next dawn. So I really like this item because it takes two items, makes them both magic, gives them extra damage for the cost of one attunement slot. However, if you sheathe your weapons or put them down, they lose it and you can't use this ability again until the next day. It says the next dawn, so if you're fighting through the night, I guess that's got some benefit to it. Or you just find a way to constantly hold your weapons and never let them go. Fane Eater, this is Archon the Cruel's battle axe, the character made famous on Critical Role by Joe Manganiello, his Dragonborn Oathbreaker Paladin. So this requires attunement by an evil cleric or paladin. It's a +3 battle axe. If a creature with this weapon, if you hit a creature with this weapon, roll an attack and roll a 20 onset attack, the creature takes an extra 2d8 necrotic damage and you regain those hit points equal to the number of necrotic damage taken. So the downside to it's a +3 battle axe, so that's cool. The sort of downside to it, though, is that when you roll a 20 on attack, it deals 2d8 necrotic damage. It's not like it doesn't increase with a crit, so you could do 48 necrotic damage, but it's an extra bonus damage on top of whatever you'd normally be rolling. As a cleric or paladin, you may have some extra bonus dice as well, and you get a little bit of healing, so that's cool. I thought it was cooler. I thought it did more stuff. It's legendary, but I feel like as a legendary weapon, it could do more. A Hellfire weapon, which is any kind of weapon, is uncommon. It's made from infernal iron and traced with veins of hellfire that shed dim light in a 5-foot radius. Any humanoid killed with an attack made with this weapon has its soul funneled into the river Styx, where it is reborn instantly as a Lemure, I think is how it's pronounced, devil. We have the Helm of Devil Command, requires attunement, very rare, by a creature that speaks Infernal. It's made for pit fiends, but it magically resizes to fit the wearer. While wearing it, you can see out of it as though you weren't wearing it because it covers your eyes. In addition, you know the exact location of all types of devils within 1,000 feet. You can telepathically communicate with a devil within range or broadcast your thoughts to all devils within range. The devils receive your broadcasted thoughts, have no special means of replying to them. It has 3 charges. As an action, you can expend 1 to cast Dominate Monster with a DC of 21, which is pretty solid, which affects devils only. The spell fails and the charge is wasted if you target any creature that isn't a devil. If a devil can see you when you cast a spell on it, the devil knows you tried to charm it. regains all charges in 24 hours after the last charges expend. If you are not a devil, using the helm's dominate monster property in the 9 health has a 20% chance of contacting a Narzagon, which arrives on the back of a nightmare mount in 1d4 hours. The Narzagon tries to recover the helm, killing you if necessary to obtain it. If it gets the helm, the Narzagon tries to deliver it to its infernal master. Cool. I think it could be an interesting concept. If you're like a paladin in hell and you get this, you can now know where all the devils are and you can communicate them. And I thought it would be really funny to be like a really super lawful good paladin and just broadcasting your like super happy-go-lucky good themed thoughts to all these devils. They can't do anything about it. They just get those thoughts in their head, and I thought that that'd be kind of funny. Infernal Puzzle Box. This is an uncommon item, non-attunement. It's a cube. It's basically a Rubik's Cube. A cube-shaped container, 5 to 6 inches on a side, composed of airtight interlocking parts made from materials found in the 9 hells. Most of these boxes are made of infernal iron, though some are carved from bone or horn. They're used to safeguard diabolical contracts signed between devils and mortals, even after the terms of the contracts are fulfilled. An empty puzzle box weighs 3 pounds, regardless of the materials used to fashion it. When an object small enough to fit inside the box is placed in it, the container magically seals shut around the object and no magic can force the box open. The sealed box becomes immune to all damage as well. Every infernal puzzle box is constructed with a unique means of opening it. The trick to solving the puzzle is always mundane, never magical. Once a creature figures out the trick or sequence of steps needed to open a particular infernal puzzle box, that creature can open the box as an action, allowing access to the box's contents. A creature that spends an hour holding an infernal puzzle box while trying to open it can make a DC 30 investigation check. If the check succeeds, the creature figures out the trick or sequence of steps needed to open the box. If the check fails by 5 or more, the creature must make a wisdom saving throw of 18 or take 42 psychic damage, or half on a success. Damn. I also think this would be really cool if you have players that aren't particularly keen on like Rubik's Cubes and those kind of puzzles, and you actually give them a physical puzzle for them to do at the table that will detract from the gameplay. Infernal Tack, I think this is super cool as well. Unfortunately, it's only usable by a character of evil alignment. A Narzagon binds a nightmare to its service with Infernal Tack, which consists of bit, bridle, rein, straps, stirrups, and spurs. A nightmare equipped with Infernal Tack must serve whoever wears the spurs until the wearer dies or the tack is removed. You can use an action to call the nightmare equipped with Infernal Tack by clashing the spurs together or scraping them through blood. The nightmare appears at the start of your turn within 20 feet. It acts as your ally and takes its turn on your initiative count. It remains for 1 day until you or it dies, until you dismiss it as an action, or until you dismiss it as an action. If it dies, it reforms in the 9 hells within 24 hours, after which, excuse me, you can summon it again. The tack doesn't conjure a nightmare from thin air. One must be first subdued so the tack can be placed on it. No nightmare accepts this forced servitude willingly, but some eventually form strong loyalties to their masters and become partners in evil. So what's cool is even if it dies, it does still reform, so you can still get it. Again, you need to be evil to be able to get it and use it in the first place, but I like it as a cool concept. We have Madaloduk, I guess, is a legendary warhammer. The Frostfather is an ancient hammer fashioned by Thrym, god of the Frost Giants, favored demon lord, favorite weapon of, yep, that guy, right there. You are immune to cold damage. I really like this. You are immune to cold damage while you hold it, and whenever it deals damage to a creature, the hammer bursts intense cold in a 30-foot radius. And get this, each creature just takes 3d6 cold damage. No save, and you are immune to it because of the function of the hammer, so you just are dealing out cold damage. I also think it'd be a lot cooler if it was a maul, but I just really like mauls, so you could make that a weapon in your game. Obsidian Flint Dragon Plate, I love this. I don't think it has any image, which is kind of a bummer, but you gain a +2 bonus to AC, so you're starting at 20 AC while wearing this armor, and you have resistance to poison damage while you wear this armor. In addition, you gain advantage on ability checks and saving throws made to avoid or end the grapple condition on yourself. I think this is fantastic. This is a legendary armor giving you 20 AC, resistance to poison, and advantage on escaping grapples, and it's non-attunement. I don't know how you get this, but I would love to have some of this for a lot of my characters. We have the Shield of the Hidden Lord. This is another legendary item, requires attunement. It serves as the prison for Gargoth, the Pit Fiend. So while holding it, you get a +2 bonus to AC, which is standard, and resistance to fire damage. It does have sentience, though, and you can see the shield has a 22 intelligence, 18 wisdom, and 24 charisma. It also has true sight and hearing out to 120 feet. The shield can speak, read, and understand Common and Infernal, and it can communicate telepathically with any creature within 120 feet. It also has 3 charges. You can use an action to expend 1 to cast Fireball, 2 to cast Wall of Fire. The DCs for these are 21. The Wall of Fire spell lasts for 1 minute non-concentration. It regains all charges daily at dawn. Anytime during your turn, the shield can choose to radiate an aura of dread for 1 minute. Any creature hostile to you at the start of its turn within 20 feet of the shield must make a DC 18 wisdom save. On a fail save, they're frightened until the start of their next turn. On a success, they're immune for the next 24 hours, and it can't use this ability again until the next dawn. And then it has a little bit about Gargoth's personality and trying to free him. You can cast Dispel Evil and Good on the shield. Has a 1% chance of freeing the Pit Fiend, or automatically succeeds if the spell is cast by a solar, planetary, or archdevil. The god can release the Pit Fiend by touching the shield and speaking his name. When released, it appears in a random unoccupied space as close to the shield as possible. Next up, we have a soul coin. Just 2 left, guys. A soul coin, uncommon. If you're unfamiliar, this is the currency of the 9 hells. Each coin contains a soul. Weighs 1/3 of a pound, is inscribed with infernal writing. The creature might have been imprisoned as a result of defaulting on a deal, while another might be a victim of a night hag's curse. To hold a soul coin is to feel the soul bound within it, overcome with rage or fraught with despair. An evil creature can carry as many soul coins as it wishes. A non-evil creature can carry a number of soul coins equal to or less than its con mod without penalty. A non-evil creature carrying a number of soul coins greater than its con mod has disadvantage on attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws. Each one has 3 charges. A creature carrying the coin can use its action to expend 1 charge from a soul coin to do the following. Siphon Soul's Essence and gain 1d10 temporary hit points. Speak telepathically, asking a question of the soul. Receive a brief telepathic response, which you can understand. It only knows what it knew in life, but it must answer you truthfully. The answer is no more than a sentence and may be cryptic. A sentence or 2 and may be cryptic. Or freeing the soul. Casting a spell that removes a curse on a soul coin frees the trapped soul inside, as does expending all the coin's charges. The coin itself rusts from within and is destroyed once the soul is released. A freed soul travels to the realm of the god it served, or the outer plane most closely tied to its alignment. The souls of lawful evil creatures released from soul coins typically emerge from the Rizer Styx as Lemure devils. A soul can be freed by destroying the coin that contains it. A soul coin has AC 19 and 1 hit point. For each charge it has remaining, and immunity to all damage except that is dealt by a hellfire weapon or an infernal war machine's furnace. Freeing a soul from a soul coin is considered a good act, even if the soul belongs to a good creature. They're the currency of the 9 hells and are used amongst the infernal hierarchy, and then that's where they're created. And lastly, the most badass item in this whole thing, the Sword of Zariel. First of all, look at that art. It's fantastic. I want this. It is a legendary, or an artifact war sword, or artifact longsword, sorry. Requires attunement by a creature that the sword deems worthy. Fashioned from celestial steel, it gives off a faint glow and hum. The weapon chooses who can attune to it and who can't. The sword allows you to attune to it immediately. The first time you attune to the sword, you are transformed into a heavenly, idealized version of yourself, blessed with otherworldly beauty and a touch of heaven in your heart. Neither magic nor divine intervention can reverse this transformation. Your alignment becomes lawful good, and you gain the following: the ability to speak, read, and write celestial, resistance to necrotic and radiant damage. Your charisma just flat out becomes 20, unless it's higher than that. You sprout beautiful feathered wings that give you a fly speed of 90 feet and the ability to hover. If you have different wings, they fall off and are replaced with these. You gain true sight. Your eyes become pools of luminous silver. You can see in normal magical darkness, see invisible creatures and objects, automatically detect visual illusions, and succeed on saving throws against them. Perceive the original form of a shape changer or creature transformed by magic, and see into the ethereal plane, all out to 60 feet. You do, however, gain new personality traits determined by rolling once on each of the following tables. And here are the personality traits: ideals, bonds, and flaws. It is holy light. The sword sheds bright light in a 5-foot radius and dim an additional 5 beyond that. Evil creatures or fiends find it disconcerting. They have disadvantage on attack rolls made in the radius of the bright light. As a bonus action, you can intensify the light, making it 15 feet of bright, 15 feet of dim. It has 2 minor beneficial properties determined from the minor beneficial properties tables in the Dungeon Master's Guide for artifacts, and it deals an extra 2d8 radiant damage to any creature it hits regardless, or 3d10 radiant damage if you're wielding it with 2 hands. An evil creature that takes this radiant damage must succeed on a DC 17 con save or be blinded until the end of its next turn. It is sentient, has an intelligence of 10, a wisdom of 20, and a charisma of 18, has hearing and normal vision out to 30 feet. It communicates by transmitting emotion to the creature carrying or wielding it. While holding the sword, you have advantage on all insight checks. And to destroy the sword, why would you? Zariel can destroy the sword simply by grasping it. She couldn't bring herself to do it when she was an angel, but as an archdevil, she has no compunction about ridding the multiverse of the weapon. The sword is also destroyed if it's used to shatter the companion. See Shattering the Companion, unless the blade is wielded by an angel of challenge rating 15 or higher, or a good aligned cleric or paladin of at least 10th level. If Zariel is killed for good, that is, if she dies in the 9 hells, the sword becomes no harder to destroy than a normal longsword. So that's it, guys. That's all of the brand new magic items that are at least listed in Appendix C, magic items, within Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. I thought there was some pretty cool stuff. I like the idea of those gauntlets. It's a little bummer that they don't actually let you use your fists to be encased in fire, which again would give the very minimal amount of things that monks have to do unarmed strike improvements. That would be something they could have done. I like that. I'm a really big fan of the obsidian flint dragon plate and the idea of the Metalatok, the hammer that does radiating damage just when it hits things. But come on, guys. I want to play a paladin in Descent into Avernus, and I want this sword. I want the Sword of Zariel so bad. I could have so much fun with that. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about the new items contained within Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. Do you like them? Were you hoping for more? Hoping for less? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys for some more Descent into Avernus content in the near future.